100% overnight?
The governor of Cardinal State, Nasiru El-Rufai, is someone that is never afraid of tackling burning issues amid the situation arising from scarcity of naira notes. Governor El-Rufai has appealed to citizens to caution against joining protests over shortage of cash and attendant hardship. The governor, who insisted that fifth columnists are behind the crisis to scuttle APC's chances in the 2023 elections, assured residents that legal means are being explored to resolve the crisis. Let's share the story.
I had advance intelligence that protests will start in Kaduna tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm appealing to all of you not to join the protests or engage in any violence. Let us know who our enemy is. Our enemy is not us. Our enemy are those fifth columnists in the villa working with Godwin Emefiele to bring this country down. And they will fail. This is a deliberate conspiracy against the APC as the ruling party to be blamed for these difficulties. And this is why we came out and revealed what was going on. And the role of the central bank governor as the evil genius behind this conspiracy. He is being used by some elements that want to bring this republic down. They want to bring this democracy down. They want to cause breakdown of law and order. Why are we expected to change 3 trillion in a matter of weeks? And then you print only 300 billion worth of notes, unless you want to create a crisis. Why would you do that? Only 34% of Nigerians have bank accounts. Only 9% of Nigerians used digital platforms for their transactions. You think that you'll move 34% and 9% to 100% overnight?
Like in all the nations of the world, the powerful political elites will determine who governs us. Like a proverbial knees on our necks, this nation is choking. We can no longer breathe. There is a shortage of air. We need to allow this nation thrive. I'm pleading with you tonight on behalf of millions of our people, more than 10 million of their children who are out of school and more than half of the population who are in abject poverty. This nation cannot be taken as a private enterprise anymore. You, the ordinary Nigerian, can no longer keep quiet. The nation belongs to all of us. And this time around again, no sitting on the fence. We must speak up to rescue this nation. The continent of Africa is waiting for its giant to rise up and flourish. That is why 2023 election is a make or mar. Look, this nation cannot make a mistake with the choice of its next leader. It is a must we get it right. If you employ the best hands to run your private companies, we should have the best of us run the affairs of this nation. We must get leadership right, not only at the center, but across the states. Knowledge, crisis management skills, character and integrity, vision and courage to make tough decisions, effective communication skills, ability to unite the nation. Leaders who cannot show these traits cannot be hired. Enough is enough. Nigeria, arise. Vote and vote right. And your time is now.
Good morning, morning, good morning, good morning, good morning from this part of the world, live from Sarasota, Florida. Anywhere you are going to or you are joining from, anytime, anywhere, Senudezwa. Welcome to On Our Politics. I started by El Rufai because apparently El Rufai is feeling the heat. If you ask me what type of heat, the heat that people who are in his position can only understand. People like Amechi, a few of them. So the Nigeria Elite Club now one big one. Once you are out, the streets are dangerous, and the man they do gra gra now, trying to be seen and heard. Unfortunately, the poor people cannot help you. The masses cannot help you back into the club. We are not responsible for it. The masses of Nigerians, they only give you one chance. You can deceive them once, they will vote for you. Put you among the elite. Now, God bless you. May you fall out of that place. Because you're going back in now only by selection, not be by vote again. And Erifa is about to find out. Erifa will find out. Erifa come into politics via appointments. And I think along the line to this state, he has fought pretty much everybody that form a ladder for him to climb to that to get inside the club. He was fortunate to get elected. That's why I said the masses will give you one chance. The guy fuck up, he fall out. So I don't understand. Let me say, don't make I not say I don't understand. It's just unfortunate that people and media are still paying him attention. I don't know. He's useless to himself. Even himself, you know. On a good day, Eropa no go start say campaign or start running amount 2 years to the next election. But unfortunately, the streets are dangerous. Anyway, it's not about Erufai, but about world politics, I should say. One of the oldest institutions in the world will still be having a new leadership. When I mean we soon, I'm saying that because the current leader, Pope Francis, is critically ill, is alive, is as at this morning is still in charge of the Catholic Church, is still the official Pope, leaders of the Catholic Church. So, but that I'm saying is critically facing the challenges. He has kidney issue, which is not new, according to news out there. As a younger man, as a younger person, had same problem, and he has to lose half of one of his. So that being said, because it's all about power, and power, they say, is never vacant. So the race, the campaign, the competition to who occupy that seat, power, position, in case the unthinkable happen, is already heating up. About 8 to 11 potential uh, pope should the current pope ascend to life beyond. So I decided to say, make I focus on the one that concerns the African continent for so many reasons, but specifically to the faith of Catholicism. It's still the religion is still one of the fastest growing religion in Africa, especially among the young people. So that's why I said it concerns us a big deal. I mean, is that enough to say, okay, oh, he will be the next pope? Maybe. But there is a but. The world is also changing. And the changes that is taking place globally, the world is in alignment. Unfortunately, Africa is not at the table where the conversation that will shape the way we live for the next 50 to 100 years is taking place. So the only place that we stand a chance to be here on the world, as our people say, let's say, walls have ears, right? So I think that's the only position we can pray for. As in Nigeria, we pray for everything. So let's pray that we get the position of the next pope so that we can just be an ear on the wall. Yeah, only here we go be here. We can't do nothing. We don't have power to do anything. So even the position of pope, we could just know say okay, just to add to the narrative that yes, we have somebody from that part of the planet wants a pope. But I say in terms of the power of that position, I don't think no matter who occupy that place, the power is not in that person's hand. But on the other hand, according to our Cardinal himself, who is a strong advocate of, or who I say is a critic of the LGBT community, and he's famous for saying that that is another form of colonization, cultural colonization, according to Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Besunga. If I destroy that name, may the Lord have mercy on me. From Democratic Republic of Congo, known for its controversial stand on church doctrine. Ambago has been an outspoken critic of Pope Francis' liberal teaching, particularly on LGBT issues. This is a quote from Tribune, no be Nigeria Tribune. Oh. So, and this article on Tribune, it shined brief light on the top 10 contenders for the next Pope position. This list was put together on February 19, 2025. So let's go and see who and who is actually in position to become the next pope. But I said today's focus is on how it relates to the continent of Africa, and especially the country that the man comes from, Congo. What is happening in Congo right now? Would that be enough to get the sympathy votes for him to see if Umbago being the Pope will relatively bring peace to that region. As I said, Africa today has the most fast growing population of that faith, especially among the young people. So Pope Francis, the 266, wow, painful, 266. America is what, 245 years this year. So that's pretty much what, 40 something years before America got their independence. And the death of the Christendom started around 15th century. The first popular revolt within the Western civilization took place in 1640 something in Europe, in Britain, between the military and the royals. That's the beginning of uh, the royal power being in charge of Britain. Actually, they won the Civil War. Then from that day on, power largely between the Catholic Church, the Royal Institute, and the states. And that proceed in late 16th century, 17th century, no, and died in America late 17th century. But for our sake, yeah, I say our sake, for the sake of uncivilized, uncultured, and those that don't know God, which is the continent of Africa and South America and relatively South Asia, that institution still have to be maintained. That's the only reason why that institution is still relevant and still has the power that they have superficially. But in the real sense of things, power still largely remains in the Pentagon. But that's not where we are today. So Pope Francis, the 266th Pontiff of the Catholic Church, has been hospitalized since February 10th for a respiratory infection and complex clinical condition. The 88 years old Argentine Pope remains in stable condition, though his ongoing health struggle has sparked speculation about his potential successor. Pope Francis, the first Pope from the Society of Jesus and the first from Latin America, has led the Church since 2013. His health issues have raised concern about his ability to continue in his role, leaving many wondering who will follow in his footsteps. This is an article from Tribune. Now, British Tribune, I'm UK. So we are on that. Maybe our Nigerian Tribune. If you are Nigerian, you are listening to me. Now, the criteria for to be the next pope. All right, let's see. Let's go through few of the criteria and see where our father from Congo stand a chance. Although technically any baptized Catholic male can be elected pope. God damn, that means I am eligible. I was baptized in Catholic Church that year now. Sure. I still remember that year now. I chop Holy Communion plenty. So I'm qualified. Huh. Never knew. Anyway, So any baptized Catholic male can be elected pope. That's serious. The the role is traditionally filled by cardinal. See, again, this speaks to I don't people I don't know. I see remember the two ladies that came to Dr. Damaging and talking about the power dynamics about man and woman. When are they try to make them understand instead of looking into the fight uh, husband and wife fight, the contention for power or they fight your boss in the name of equality and all that. You guys are missing the point. I remember pointing out to them that you have to just look beyond those footprints and see, okay, what actually runs the world? What are the institutions that runs the world? Are all run by men. Now, this one of the most powerful institutions that we have today. Nobody they even will talk about. It's not even coming up with conversation, even among the feminists. Right? Even though they are I mean, I feel like you say now among the Catholic faith, now women see many pass. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So it traditionally filled by cardinals at male role since 1378. Okay, since 1378, and I said the first, I said the Christendom died pretty much in 14, so it don't really last like that, even though it's still very relevant today. Anyway, it is a traditional free by eternal since 1378. Pope have been selected through a conclave of cardinals, and only those under the age of 80 are eligible. Now, this is where the criteria comes in. Must be under 80 to vote. Cardinals above the age of 80 can still be elected, just cannot vote, but can be elected as Pope, though they cannot participate in the votes. The conclave is a deeply solemn process where cardinals gather in Sistine Chapel to elect the next Pope on our politics. So the top tech front runner for the next popes are the first person on the list here is Cardinal Petro Parolin, Italy, 70 years old. The Vatican Secretary of State, Parolin is a key figure in the diplomatic wing of the Holy See. As a moderate, he considered a neutral extension of Pope Francis' policy. And he has been on a diplomatic trips a few times that I've seen. He has met with Zelensky and the rest of them. So, an Italian. Does that count? I don't know. Now, on the second person on the list is Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Besungu, Democratic Republic of the Congo, 65 years of age, is young. Would that be an advantage or disadvantage? Because if he becomes Pope now, I mean, you'll give him another 30 years more. Can the power that be, bear and tolerate it for that long? I don't know, but that could also be an advantage, especially the world that is fast changing. Even as I said earlier on, the table of where this changing is being discussed, the whole continent is not even on the table. The crisis that is ravaged the country that the man come from has been there since forever. It's the same thing that is happening in Congo right now was the same thing that happened in the 60s. And those we like, I don't know, we won't just either listen or read or hear about Babangida book without actually putting out some things on the table and draw connection. But who's me? All those boys that carry out the coup, all those boys, all of them were all at one point together in Congo. They were all in war what together what in Congo. So now that you know, hopefully the idea is that Naiboku will not be no going to generate line again years to come because it behooves me why it's even a conversation in the first place. Knowing that all the boys, I call them boys because those motherfuckers are in their late 20s and 30s, right? What kind of ideology would they have? The weapon that they use, everything, the planet is beyond carrying out the coup is beyond that those kind of people. But for some kind of reason, nobody seems to draw that conclusion that all those boys that carry out the coup from the 66 to the last one till Babangida Abacha time, those guys are in their late 20s and early 30s. And for some reason, people see the ability they actually sit down and plan a coup and carry it out. Like, I don't understand. Those guys are merely actors. They are merely actors acting on the script. So for me, the curiosity should be who wrote what is in this script? Is this still a play? Who wrote the script? I mean, that should be the question, not be. But that's a conversation for another time. So now I'm saying all that to say that it was the same thing that is happening now in Congo had happened in the 60s, early 60s. So will Pope come from that particular country, make anything change happen at all? Would that be in his favor or against him? That's another way I'm looking at it from. Now, he's 65 years old, known for his conservative stance on church doctrine. Now, if I look at the current power in DC, I mean, Donald Trump, quote unquote, they pride themselves as what? It's a Christian government. Whether they know what to talk about to, but it's out there. Now, that could be in his favor. These people wants to go back to the traditional, religious value, family, and all you whatnot. So, if this is what uh, embargo is known for, I think the current Trump administration would actually favor his conservative stance and views on church. Embargo has been an outspoken critic of Pope Francis' liberal teachings, particularly on LGBTQ issue. That again can also work against him. So he is at a crossroads if he's actually being considered at all. So these two issues could work to his favor against him. The current power in Washington DC seems to be in the same alignment with him in terms of his view and the Christian doctrine, man. Now, the change that is already in motion, that as far as I'm concerned, nobody or institution or only government can actually stop, is the LGBT community. So, since his stance is very clear not to align with those communities, would that be a stumbling block for him or so? I don't know, but that's where we are. The third person on the list to be considered Pope is Cardinal Wing EJ from Netherlands, 71. A former medical doctor, EJ is a staunch conservative known for his opposition to the Pope's stance on civil remarriage and divorce. To them, remarriage now, see, should not be allowed. That's pretty much what he's trying to say here. His views often challenge Pope Francis' liberal approach. Now, they put that there to just see the distance between him and Mbago, who's also a conservative, have the same view, but they are different from one or two things. Now we have Cardinal Peter Erdo, Hungary, as 72 years old. Erdo has long been a prominent conservative voice in church politics. His opposition to the acceptance of divorce and remarrying, which is pretty much aligned with the guy from Netherlands, Catholic receiving communion, a remarried Catholic receiving communion, aligned with a strong doctrine stand. Hmm. We have Cardinal Raymond Burke, United States, 76, a vocal critic of Pope Francis, vocal advocate for traditional Catholic teachings on marriage, the Eucharist and family issue, making him a leading conservative contender. They already put leading already in his front. Right. Is it because he's the oldest among them so far, or he's from the United States? But that's anyone to conclude. Cardinal Robert Sarah Gunier. Oh, I don't even know say now. I want to okay. 78 years old. Sarah is known for his criticism of Pope Francis, liturgical reforms, and strong adherence to the traditional Catholic teachings. His firm stance on perceiving the Latin Mass has made him a favorite among my favorite among traditionalists. I like that. Now, next in contention is Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, Italy, 69 years old. An insider within Pope Francis' Vatican. Zuppi is seen as a moderate who could continue the pontiff agenda. He is known for his focus on inclusivity and social justice. Okay. Cardinal Giovanni Battista, Italy, 89. As Dean of the College of Cardinals, he played a crucial role in preparing for the conclave, though his age may be a consideration. It's close to, oh, he's 89, so, which is what I said earlier on the embargo on. He's too young. I mean, I said he's too young because that is how, if they want to use it against you, they will still see him because he'll be there for what, 20 to 30 years. So somebody who is close to where he's going to, where he's coming from, like Giovanni, who is 89, that could be in his favor. So, okay, good job did it. After a few years, he's gone. And so that could be in his favor and that could work against him at the same time. And his influence remains significant in Vatican circle. Cardinal Bagnasco, Italy, 80. Bagnasco has been a key figure in the Italian Epistolical Conference, known for his conservative view. His views as a strong contender with a deep ties to Vatican leadership. Cardinal Angelo Scola, Italy, 81, former Archbishop of Milan. Scola has long been considered a papal candidate. His theological expertise and conservative view make him a strong contender for those who seek continuity with traditional teachings. The conclave process, with a papal vacancy arise, whether through resignation or death, the conclave process begins. Cardinal under the age of 80 gather in the Sistine Chapel to vote in secret. After multiple rounds of voting, a two-third majority is required for a cardinal to be elected pope. If not majority is reached, voting continues until a candidate emerges. Once elected, the new pope is introduced to the world from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, making the beginning of his papacy. I like that, papacy. Papacy. So let's zoom in on Pope, our own, our own chance, our own candidate, our own representative, our own papa. Our papa from Kinshasa, having a Brazzaville, Fridolin Ambongo Besungu. It's a strong name. I always how you pronounce that word, but if not, I will just say Congo. Born in 1960. Huh, interesting. The story will be powerful if he becomes the Pope. Born during the at the heart of the Congo's, I don't know, I can't even say a civil war because Ghana just fear genocide, they carry against those people. He was born at that time. Imagine him became Pope 65 years later. The same thing he was born into is still pretty much happening exactly 65 years later. I mean, those that know how to paint narrative and story, that's a good line to. That's a good way to actually write the guy's story. If he end up becoming the Pope. Anyway, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he is a Capuchin Ferrer who has risen to prominence as the Archbishop of Kinshasa and a Cardinal since 2019, appointed by Pope Francis. At age 65, he is relatively young for a Cardinal, giving him a long runway for his influence. Okay, if he end up being the favored one, 30 years in there will be it's not far-fetched. Um, Appointed by Pope Francis at age 65, he is relatively young for a cardinal, giving him a long runaway for his influence. He's also the president of the Symposium of Episcopal Conference of Africa and Madagascar, making him a key voice for the African Church, a region where Catholicism is growing rapidly. And our brothers and sisters from the Catholic from the Southeast are a huge contributor to that factor. Anyway, we'll get to that. Making him a key voice for the African church, a region where Catholicism is growing rapidly. Unlike in Europe or North America, what sets Mbago apart is his blend of conservatism and social activism. He made wave by rejecting Pope Francis' fiducial supplicant declaration, which allowed Prince to bless same-sex couple. For Ambago and many African bishops, this was a step too far, viewed as a Western imposition clashing with African culture and religion's values. He called it a form of cultural colonialism. I said that earlier on. So yeah, it'll be interesting. At the time, he was born 2 years when Dr. Nkrumah actually speak exactly what he's referred to. That the coming of the new come, the colonization of the continent will be more dangerous. The fact that this same man is using the same, pretty much the same emphasis at this time of the event is just fucking crazy. I think then Murtala Mohammed pretty much re-echoed that same sentiment in the 70s. History, indeed, is beautiful. Now, a view a Western imposition clashed with the African culture and religious value. He called it a form of cultural colonization, a stance that won him both praise and criticism at the time. Yet, he is not just a traditionalist dog into doctrine. He outspoken on social justice, laying against corruption and poverty in the Congo, and has even faced legal threats from the government for his critique. During a 2024 Mass for Peace, he warned that his nation was in danger due to ongoing violence in the East, showing his willingness to confront power head on. Just imagine this man was born the same time where all these things happen and it's still happening. I mean, it's so fucking crazy. Making him win so that more lights will be shined on what is happening in the Congo. More books will be written. History will be. I mean, it will be powerful if they if they can consider all that and make the man pull butts at that. Hmm. So during the 2024 Mass for Peace, he warned that his nation was in danger due to ongoing violence in the East, showing his willingness to confront power head on if embargo were to become Pope. Cool. Alright, we can know, man, no go there yet. I just think about the significance of him if he become Pope, saying in the year that he was born, the same thing that is happening in Congo now was happening then. I just try to draw the correlation with us in Nigeria, right? As pretty much the narrative that led to the civil war is still pretty much ongoing now. And if you look at the power that voice is raising in the south is like places like Obi, can only tell you that Ojukwu, if he become president within the next 4 to 8 years, how powerful will that narrative be? It will bring the history of Nigeria will be told in a different way, in a different context that it will empower a lot of people to actually focus on who we are, where we are coming from, and where we are headed. For anyway, maybe I did overdream. So he warned that his nation was in danger due to ongoing violence in the West, in the East, showing his willingness to confront power head on. If Mbango were to become Pope, a possibility, some speculate about giving Pope Francis final health at 88. He had, he had bring a striking shift. The church might pivot away from Francis' progressive leaning toward a more conservative theory, especially on moral issues like sexuality. I mean, if you want to go by the wave that brought Donald Trump in, the election that took place in Germany yesterday, who gave the center right pretty much power. I mean, and we see that change is pretty much shifting away from progressivism to more conservative way we really see that might actually reflect at the Vatican and Pope Mbago might be. Hey, this is just me thinking out loud. The church might pivoted away from Francis' progressive leanings towards a more conservative theory, especially on a moral issue like sexuality. But don't mistake that for stagnation. Umbango focus on the global south, which is where the church is pretty much focusing on in terms of growth, while the global south, where the church future lies. And another way for America to actually wield influence, you know, or have a wall, a wall with an ear within the global south, is actually giving the man who is from the global south. I don't know if, I mean, the BRICS nation could also be in support of that. I mean, who knows? This is just me thinking out loud anyway on our politics. The, um, the church might pivot away from Francis' progressive leanings towards a more conservative theology, especially on moral issues like sexuality. But don't mistake that for stagnation. Umbago focused on the global south, where the church future lies demographically, could reinvigorate his mission. African alone has over 230 million Catholics. And I guarantee you that at least that 30 million of them come from Southeast Nigeria. If I'm not mistaken, make I see it. My ask Google. Where I Google guess sense. The population of Catholic and the Southeast. South in Nigeria. Oh, shit. About 70% of Nigerian Catholic population live in the southeast region of the country. The exact number of Catholics in Nigeria is difficult to determine. Come on now, and give me that crap. I thought now. In 2010, about 12.6% of Nigerian population was Catholic, with 70% of them living in the southeast. That 94% of the Nigerian 30 million Catholic attend Mass at least once a week. Da, 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 da. So, you see why I they laugh because even they celebrate the USI USAID is gone. And don't forget they get 30 million USID. Ah, anyway, hallelujah. It's crazy. So, um, African alone has over 230 million Catholics, and that number is climbing. Its leading, its leadership could prioritize the needs of these communities. Education, poverty, conflict over Western debate about modernity. A change for a changing world. Fit him in an unexpected way. It is not about adapting the church to a secular trend, but about grounding it in what he sees as timeless truth while tackling real world crises. Imagine a papacy that doubled down on liturgy and orthodoxy, but also call out global power exploiting African resources. That could also work against them. I wish God life safe. Anyway, it had been less about dialogue with liberal Europe and more about amplifying the marginalized his marginalized. All that should be, but that could work against it. But I don't know. Knowing that the power that he that the power is not necessary in that Vatican. So who knows? That could also be in his favor. His youth focused initiative, like aligned 100,000 youth Congolese during Francis 2023 visit. You see why it's standing. That could also be in favor with the number. When you have this kind of youth, that's the future of Catholic as an institution right there. And if he has their height, their height and mind with him, it's over. So hints at a dynamic approach to a Catholic that aging in some corner and exploding with new life in other. It's actually saying it's dying. Catholicism is dying in Europe due to the what modernity or modernization that they approach that they, and it's taking shape. It's taking shape in Africa. Oh, we won't go heaven, abi. We'll go meet Pope first. We are going Pope. If una get Pope, we una fit relate to go accelerate that. He go accelerate the kingdom life. Hunger go finish a lot of people in that process. Then they will meet their heavenly Father. Hallelujah. Now, would it be unfair or a lightning rod? Hard to say. His rejection of same-sex blessing alienated some, but his defiance of both Western norms and local tyrants earned him respect. The church is at a crossroad, shrieking in the west, booming elsewhere. Embargo could be the face of that shift, a bridge between tradition and the raw energy of a new Catholic frontier. Hmm. Does the style of change match what's needs, or is still rooted in resistance? The question, perfect way to actually answer that question is to say, do now what? J. Trump. It defies all odds and pull it off. And I think Washington would like to work with a man that they can relate to without necessarily getting resistance or too much persuasion to carry out their dates. That's my own conclusion in that respect. But there are many, plenty of them who are going for that. As I said, we are having this conversation because of what? Pope Francis' health. Yes, he's healthy, he's alive, he's still in charge, but there's always a but because power is never vacant. There's no need for it to start now. So the race to occupy that position should the unthinkable happen is already at a top speed. Just like the race for AI and the race to who is going to rewrite the new world order is also at the top of it. But unfortunately, Erufai might be our problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Ciao. Like, share, and subscribe.